They're just so critical now. So our standard of work has to get better. I started as an electrician, came out of school at 16 and didn't really want to do university. I hated sales, hated sitting in a suit and sat behind an office. 50, 60,000 pound houses up in Burnley, and now to doing £5 million renovations in Jumeirah Golf Estates. It was literally within 3 weeks.
Marcus Buchanan. He's changing how people understand renovation and construction in Dubai, separating good design from good building, and showing why execution matters just as much as aesthetics. Having delivered and overseen real projects on the ground, Marcus brings clarity to a space often filled with shortcuts, uncertainty, and surface-level upgrades. His perspective bridges design, build quality, and long-term value. If you're looking for the no-nonsense truth about how homes in Dubai should actually be built, renovated, and future-proofed, this is it. Welcome to the No Nonsense Podcast with Matt and Brad.
What are the common mistakes investors are making in this particular game, do you think?
I'd definitely say the wrong. It does not have to be expensive, it doesn't have to be marble everywhere. It just has to be a clean and modern design.
You're talking to an investor or a client. Is there any red flags that you'd make them aware of, things to avoid?
Just ensure that your contract is reputable. Knowing the approval process could kill you.
Welcome to episode 7 of No Nonsense Dubai. Today we are with Marcus Buchanan, and we're going to actually be discussing renovations, construction, and value add real estate. And Marcus will be able to explain to us and yourselves today how you can turn an average property into profit, and why renovations and sort of general construction are becoming one of the most influential parts of the Dubai real estate. So Marcus, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
Lovely to be here.
And Bradley, welcome as well.
Thank you for having me, Matthew.
So today we're going to explore a number of things. So renovation return on investments, because I think it's fair to say not every renovation will perform the same, right?
Unfortunately not, no.
We'll discuss construction timelines and budgeting, because again, there's of course can be delays that you have to consider. We'll look at end user expectations as well, the danger zones and the red flags that you have to be really careful on so you don't make some of the same mistakes that some investors will make. And also how investors can use renovations to perhaps outperform other market segments as well. But this actual episode isn't just for one particular audience. It's for investors, of course. It's also for real estate agents, end users, and just anyone that is actually considering this as a potential avenue to explore. Because I'm sure, as you can appreciate, it can be very lucrative if done in a very educational and the correct manner. So hence why we have someone like yourself here who has, a wealth of experience on how to guide people and to navigate them as well. So
Correct.
Once again, welcome.
Thank you.
So Marcus, question number 1. Who is Marcus and how did you get into the construction game in Dubai?
In Dubai, so I guess it starts back from the UK, where I'm from originally. I started as an electrician, came out of school at 16 and then went down that avenue there. Didn't really know what to do, didn't really want to do university. My dad was always in the construction background, so I kind of went down that avenue anyway. And then very quickly moving on I got into general construction in the UK. I think one thing led to another, and I teamed up with a friend of mine who was a plumber, and we had a little business for a few years. Unfortunately, that didn't go as well. Just happened to go that way. And then I fell into doing construction for general people, homeowners in the UK. One thing led to another. Got into a group of investors in the UK doing their renovation projects, and they were doing a lot of social housing, and I learned along the way, simply. I came out to Dubai for a friend of mine who just set up an off-plan company many years ago, about 5 years ago, before off-plan was off-plan. And there wasn't much going on just after COVID. And he was like, just come out here and help me. He knew I had interest in property, had never done sales in my life before, thought, what harm can it be? He flew all these figures around as people do, and came out here. I hated sales, hated sitting in a suit and sat behind an office. But unfortunately, I lasted about 6 weeks, but I met some incredible people and I fell in love with Dubai. So I was back and forth every few months, just being on holiday, see my friends that I've met here and just kind of loved the place. Fell into an opportunity where someone offered me a job. He knew of someone who had a renovations company. He wanted to, like a British trained technician, engineer, to come out here and manage a small renovations business. So I did. I took it on. I thought, you know what, why not? I was doing, 50, 60,000 pound houses up in Burnley, and now to doing £5 million renovations in Jumeirah Golf Estates. It was literally within 3 weeks, one extreme to the other, and I loved it. So that's how I kind of fell into that. And it was really the right person at the right time.
What sort of projects do you work on? Is it apartments, mainly villas?
So
commercial?
We landed some nice projects, which allowed us to give us that room for, we were doing villas. So we do a lot of communities like Gulf Estates, Jumeirah Islands, Barari, Jumeirah Park. We don't do apartments. There's a lot of reasons why we don't. Not that we're too good for it or anything like that, because some incredible apartment projects, just we're not set up for apartments. So many more hurdles to jump over. We just we know what we're doing with the villas. We know the communities. We know the security boundaries. So we just kind of stick to villa renovations.
What's the hurdles with apartments? Is it the security guards?
Security. Honestly, the only one apartment I dealt with, and I was just helping out a guy that I got introduced with. I got quite friendly with him. I helped him out. I purely wanted to see his project get over the line because he got stung from a contractor. And even he, on the final day, he wanted to move a couch in. And he was calling me saying, I've filled in these permits 5 times. They get rejected. The couch gets turned away. You know what delivered? You go to Order Furniture. They turn up when they want. And then security, like, oh, you've not got a permit for this time on this day. And they turn them away. And that sort of headache, I'm like, I just don't need the hassle with protecting lifts, materials going up and down. We're lucky enough to be busy doing villas. We don't need the headache of apartments.
Yeah.
And it's simple as that.
We live in the same building, right? And the security guards can be the bane of our lives. Remember when I was trying to get a mattress delivered?
Vividly.
The cut, I saw red. The cut-off was 2 p.m.
There you go.
All right. On a weekend, the cut-off was 2 p.m. to get deliveries. And the guy turned up at like 10 to 2, all right, on time, just. And then I get a call at like 5 to 2 with the security. And while I'm on the phone to them, it goes past 2 o'clock. And then they're like, oh, no, we can't. It's gone 2 o'clock. And I'm
It's
like,
so petty, isn't
He
it?
arrived at 10 to 2. I've been on the phone to you for 10 minutes. It's because they're so afraid of breaking the rules themselves.
100%.
Yeah, robotic.
Yeah, it's just like that. A lot they'll turn in at like 5:30. You'll tell them to come before 5. Last night I had a dining room table meant to be delivered. I told them 8 till 5. They call me at like 5:30, 5:45. I'm like, I've told you, we'll have to reschedule it now. And that's just happened 3 times. So that's the reason why. Thank you for sharing the pain.
I share it. Don't. Yeah.
But I'm sure we're not the only ones. Everyone has that issue.
Yeah,
So.
it's. I've had some heated. I'm a pretty patient man, I think, but I've had some pretty heated conversations with the security guards in our building.
I was until I moved to Dubai.
There seems to be such a limelight on on many sort of segments within the Dubai market, but especially the renovations at the minute. In your opinion, or in your experience, should I say, why is there such a spotlight on that at the minute? Probably more in the last few years than there's ever been.
I think that comes down to ultimately the off-plan market is so pushed upon now. The returns are okay. Obviously, they're pushing all these expectations on like the values when they hand over. But these secondary villas, they look old, they look tired. You know, even a villa that's 1 year old, with this weather and the conditions, it just looks tired. So there is a market. And it only takes one villa on one street to get renovated and get sold for a record sale. And then it's just a knock-on effect the whole way. And people are seeing that. And not so much now, but when I got here 4 years ago, the returns were insane. Like over doubling your money. So people just jumped on that bandwagon, but then sellers have clocked onto that. So it's slowing down a little bit, but 100% is still such a lucrative market to be flipping villas, if done correctly, with the right expectations, as you said.
Would you say this applies to the off-plan market? All markets, but it's more now than ever, has become more competitive. So the window of opportunity has narrowed, right? I suppose in renovations, again, like off-plan, a few years ago, you could almost buy anything and have some form of success, whereas now you've got to be really patient, be strategic, wait for the right opportunity, and that patience will pay dividends. Are you seeing the same within the renovation game? Like you have to be really selective, I assume? You
do, but only down to the fact that the communities, you know, even on the smaller communities, even like the Springs all the way up to Barari, sellers are clocking on. Yeah. So that's what's just suffocated the market for people. Cost of construction stayed the same. The end values have gone up, yes, a little bit, but the purchase price now, the entry point is now shot through the roof because sellers have got greedy. That's what's killing the deal. So that's what's suffocating the market a little bit. So you have to really be selective on certain communities.
Is there any communities that you'd highlight out of, like, if you could list the top 3?
Our Barari is still up there. But again, the entry point's up there.
20 million, 30 million?
Probably more, 20 to 30, I'd say right now. I'm not an agent, so I don't know the exact figures, but from what I'm seeing, around 20 to 30 million plus, entrance points. Meadows and But my favourite right now is Jumeirah Park.
Okay.
There's still plots for sale, which right now a lot of our clients are looking at custom builds instead of renovations now, because you can still buy a plot relatively cheap, and to build it, it's a lot cheaper than buying something ready-made, which is daft, but it is. That's what I'd say right now, Jumeirah Park, where I'd put my money.
Yeah, if you was to buy it.
Yeah.
And what are the common mistakes that some investors are making in this particular game, do you think? Renovations?
I mean, it's easy for me to say, but I'd definitely say the wrong contractor with the wrong track record.
Yeah.
When I say we don't do apartments, or when I say we don't do partial refurbs, it's because we have experience in the big renos, the full renos, and we know how that works. But our systems are so systematic, it's smooth. When you start getting smaller companies who've only done like apartments or partial refurbs, then they do a big one, it's a different ball game. I know we're not fitted out for doing apartments, so we don't try it. I think that's definitely a big factor, but also expectation on timelines. You know, some of my biggest investors, they're the ones that have the longest timelines, because they understand stuff takes long. They really expect stuff takes between 12 months and 2 years even on the bigger stuff. The first time investors, they're like, I want it done in 4 months. I'm like, that's great. We all want it done in 4 months. I want to be off your house in 4 months. It just won't happen. So definitely setting expectations early on. That's what's killing their expectation, I'd say.
So would you say 8 months to 12 months, decent timeline?
It
or is
really
it the size
depends.
of the
It completely and utterly depends.
Yeah.
Smaller stuff, maximum 6 months. Bigger stuff, 6 to 12. And they're like the bigger, 12 to 18 months easy. But that's realistic.
And what would you say, what's the priorities, what's the main factors that turn a normal villa into a premium villa? Is it the size? Is it the open plan kitchen? Is it a pool in the back garden?
When it comes to that, I think it's guided by ticking boxes on the sales side.
Yeah.
So if you've got 2 identical villas, one's got a pool, one doesn't, obviously the pool. We're even now having discussions as of yesterday, two identical villas, one has a lift in. Lift's not the most expensive thing in the world, but if one has it and the next door doesn't, that's going to go quicker. It might not sell for more, but if it goes quicker, it's more profit for the owner. So that's definitely a factor, making yours as more attractive. You know, renos are getting higher specs all the time. We're always trying to evolve the design, not necessarily spending more, but just tweaking the design so that it is more of a unique product and it does sell quicker, because ultimately that's what everyone wants. Sorry, the question again.
Like certain, what add-ons turn it from what are the main add-ons that turn it from a normal villa to a premium villa? So you said the lifts.
Yeah, so lifts
Really?
are definitely a lot more now. We had a meeting with our lift contractor yesterday, and he said 90% of his business is only G+1, which baffles me, considering you'd think you want a lift, but these are a big company, and 90% is to go upstairs.
I mean, unless they've got elderly parents or something like that, but yeah. It's then it's unnecessary, but then I'd have bedrooms downstairs. Yeah.
Correct. So like, I definitely say that is a value added. And then I go just down to this design. It does not have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be marble everywhere. It just has to be a clean and modern design. And for me, that's where you're going to get the most value out of it.
Yeah, because we see that in some of these designs on apartments as well as the villas that come to the market. Now, some of these developers will go for very, let's say questionable to some people. Taste is very subjective, but if you tend to go for more bold colours, you know, your bright blues and your golds and whatnot, that can be great for one type of clientele. Correct. Perhaps. But if you go for more minimalistic, timeless, neutral colour palettes, I assume that's going to open up to a wider audience, right?
100%. I mean, it's like you said, it's so subjective, and even more than that, it's you buy a market. Do you want families? Do you want couples? We're doing one that the landscape's just stunning, but it's not for a family, unfortunately. It's just too big of a pool. It's too many entertaining areas. Like the safety elements for kids probably will put young families out the market. But the developer accepts that, and when they're designing it, they're designing it for a couple or a retiree couple that's not got young kids anymore.
Yeah.
So it's completely down to how you're designing it and who you want your audience to be. But somewhere like Jumeirah Park, where it's such a family-orientated community, you really need to design for the masses and design it like you said, majority is going to live there and very much plain. You know, even you can leave plain walls, that's fine. You can put art on it. It doesn't have to be everything designed everywhere. You can 100% over design a villa.
Yeah.
And what type of, if you could split the ratio 50-50, 70-30, who are you seeing renovating these villas? Is it end users, families for personal use, or is it investors looking to flip? Or is it kind of a mixture?
From what we see, we very much focus for a lot of investors, but there are a lot of homeowners moving in, doing them themselves. I'd probably say still majority homeowners, which is a good thing because you do want homeowners in. You know, I think the way UK has gone, it's majority landlords. A lot of investors have gone in, but now it's still a lot, especially in these sort of family communities. Still, I reckon a lot of homeowners are still renovating them. But the ones that are doing the big renovations, they're definitely the investors because they want the premium returns. The difference between a family homeowner and an investor is a massive difference because they're doing stuff. Oh, we'll do a bit now, we'll do a bit next year, we'll do a bit in a few years. We'll push boundaries on approvals because they're not going to come in. We're not selling it, so we don't care as much. Whereas the investors, they want record sales. I'm fortunate to have clients who do want to push boundaries on the design and go for record sales because that's what we love to do. But definitely they push boundaries and the homeowners go for a little bit more plain sailing of a design.
Take their time a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're not in a rush to do it. They're not in and out. They're there for 10, 15 years.
I've got a question. So one, I see this becoming a bit of an issue in the future, right? If we're thinking a few steps ahead. So many of these townhouses launches, and they could be launching hundreds, thousands of villas, and they're cookie cutters. They can literally be identical side by side by side, and you can have 1,000 of those units, right? Which ultimately that will create more competition, so that'll be rife, and that will suppress rental yields because it's like a race to the bottom.
That is crazy how you pay all this money over 5 years to get a brand new villa, and then I get a call within a day of handover saying I've just handed this unit, I want to put a pool in it, I want to wrap the kitchen, I want to do this. I'm like, that's mental for me.
I'll ask the question again.
And that is an actual thing I get calls on.
Yeah. One thing we can foresee at the moment is it's going to become an issue, and it's going to become more prevalent than ever, is there's a lot of townhouses and villas. There's a shortage in the market at the moment, right? For obvious reasons. But some of these townhouse launches, they're very much copy, paste. So you could have a row of 10 3-beds side by side. You can have 1,000 units and they're all the exact same. And they could be handing over in, say, 4 years, sometimes even 5 years. And it's going to be a race to the bottom in terms of the future price that you're going to command or the rental yields. But they're delivered almost like a core and shell. Do you see that there's going to be, especially in the future, a huge appetite for those particular buyers or new buyers that are going to want to renovate those particular homes?
The answer to that, what I'd say is, because they are handing over exactly the same, the villas we're renovating now are 15 to 20 years old. So 100% in the next 5 years, people are going to want to remodel them. And it's the exact same as all the Emirates living, everywhere in Dubai. 15 years ago, they were all the same. It's only now, 15 years later, that these new communities will need a facelift. But don't get me wrong, even now from handover communities, we're getting calls already saying we're picking the keys up for this villa next week. Can you come in and we want to do certain works to it to make it unique? Because some of these are flipping. So if you've got 5 villas on one road and they're all investors have bought it 5 years ago to then sell it tomorrow when they get the keys, how are they going to differentiate? Whereas if you do the landscape, because it's just a pile of sand at the moment on the handover communities, so they all need to put a pool in, they all need to do some basic landscaping as a minimum. And then they start going, well, they've done that, so we need to now do the kitchen. They've done that, we need to knock through this wall. So 100% these communities will need work doing to it. But in terms of the full renovations, it won't be necessary. I think I was having this conversation not long ago. I think there's a small gap for these big renovations, even companies like ourselves, because all of the properties that are 15 to 20 years old are getting renovated. All of Jumeirah Islands is pretty much not far off renovated. They don't need doing again. In the next 10 years, they're not going to be fully hit again because they've been fully extended. The bathrooms have all been done brand new, higher spec products, and when the developers did them, they're all going to be facelifts now. Like the UK, very rarely you need to do a full renovation. It's all just new windows, a new kitchen every 10 years, a bathroom every 5 years, new carpets, and that's all it'll be. Now, I think for full renovations, we are probably got the next 5 years, and then the renovation standards are going to come a lot less because the demand's not there anymore.
So you get clients calling you with units that have just handed over from off plan.
It's more my agents' friends that I've got handover communities.
Yeah.
They're trying to maximize their returns from their clients. Fair enough. So they team up with me. They get me in saying, look, what can we do? These are the floor plans. What can we do now or plan to do now for when they get the key, so that when they flip it, they're different from the next streets along. So 100% it happens, which is fair enough. We'd all do the same.
Because they'll run out of homes to renovate at some point.
Well, that's my point. They will.
Yeah.
At what point does Dubai run out of homes to renovate, right? So how do you see the renovation market changing over the next few years? Like, what are you predicting?
I think it leans back to what I said on most of the communities now that were built 15 years ago. A lot of them are renovated, and within the next 3 to 5 years, they'll all be renovated. And then we've got these handover communities now, which we've got 15 to 20 years before they need renovating again. So there will be a 10-year gap where I don't think much renovations will happen. Most of the communities have been done. Even new communities, relatively new, like Barari, is all getting redone again. Maybe that community, but they've all been fully extended. Even on the new handover communities, you've got limitations, a lot more limitations on what you can do. The way they built them are different, so you can't do as much to them. So I definitely think it's going to slow down on renovations, but there still will be a demand for light touch-up, should we say. I don't think that will slow down anywhere around the world, but definitely the intense market for where it has been the past 5 years won't be there in the next 5 years.
Is it a lot of hassle getting certain NOCs from developers to like knock a wall down or do something in the back garden? What's that process look like?
In terms of around the world, it's relatively easy. So if you compare a planning application for even a new build here versus the UK, here we could get it in 6 weeks, whereas in the UK, 6 months to 18 months minimum. So it is still relatively quick, and I always try and still remind clients that, especially British clients, from their trauma from the UK compared to here, but it's still frustrating because everyone wants everything done tomorrow here. It's easy in that sense, but it's still a lot of hurdles to jump through. They want permission for everything. They over-engineer everything here. The size of footings for just a fence is ridiculous here, unnecessary. They're the type of hurdles that are annoying. You know, small little things that are just painting a villa. You need do you know what I mean? Stuff like that in the UK you don't have to deal with. Here you have to jump through a lot of hoops. So they're the issue, but it does happen relatively quick in the scheme of things.
I didn't think you could paint villas. Like, I thought externally it's a bit of a no-go, but
Well, you can
internally,
repaint them. You can't necessarily change the colour too much.
I saw a pink villa in Damac Hills 2 the other day. I thought,
There's a pink one in Springs, and I'm like, I double checked and it is an approved colour.
Yeah.
But it's just like salmon pink, and I was like, how would you choose to do that?
That's what I saw.
It's
They
just
lost the bet.
yeah, probably had. But there's certain limitations. That's another thing as well. You're not just buying a villa, you're buying into a community. So if you want to think you can go in and want this white Miami style with black frames and all this grey tiles here, and then you buy a community in one of the Jumeirah Golf Estates where you've got to have certain window frames, you're not going to happen. You have to buy into the community here, not just the villa itself. And that's what people forget.
Okay.
One last question from my end. What's the most underrated renovation that will add the most value?
Good question. I'd definitely say probably swimming pool. I really do. I think if a villa's got one who doesn't have one, it's going to sell quicker or it's not. I'd probably say that's the simplest. You could then say a new kitchen, but even that, kitchen's a kitchen. I'd definitely say a pool.
Yeah.
A villa with a pool or a villa without a pool, that's probably your entry level. You could get one from 120,000. Kitchen, you're probably looking at 120 anyway. So on average, I'd definitely say with the swimming pool.
And a lift.
And a lift, if you can fit one in, yeah.
Everyone wants that. I think a nice kitchen kind of makes a home doesn't it? I think a lot of what's the stat about kitchen? We spend 60 or 70, 80% of our time in the kitchen.
Most likely.
Not you, definitely don't.
Sound like a couple.
No, yeah, I think good kitchen's definitely a must. So Paul,
That can't be right. 60, 70.
no, yeah, there's a stat. No,
Is that worldwide stat or Dubai? Because I doubt it
It's
in Dubai.
not Dubai. Definitely not Dubai. I think it's a worldwide stat where a huge percentage of our lives are spent in the kitchen, like way more than you'd expect. I'll have to look at it.
Step
That's
counts
about
the
10 hours
fridge.
a day.
Yeah.
It's probably not 60%, but it's bigger than you think. Yeah.
Yeah. As you'll know with off-plan, different developers will have different credibilities and track records.
Yep.
Some will deliver what they promise, and some may be their quality, or it might be sort of more value engineering.
Yep.
Without sort of slandering or slating certain developers, do you see certain patterns with certain developers whereby perhaps the quality of the construction is a little bit underwhelming?
100%. I mean, I'm not going to get myself blacklisted
See
and
you smiling.
name drops, but yeah, 100%. So it baffles me again. You can go into a equivalent of a £1 to £2 million villa here in Dubai, and you've got kitchens that are just below par. You'd go in and immediately, I need a new kitchen, or just simple worktop, or quality even. Just the material might be fine, just quality of materials. But because every villa is like that in Dubai, it kind of blends in. That's what I use as ammunition to say this is why you should buy a villa and renovate it, because you get the quality back from the same amount of money spent. Whereas a lot of the developers it seems to me like they lack the snagging stage, and like you bought it at that point, and what you're going to do here, you can't really do anything about it. So 100%. Another thing with certain developers, not so much face value, but behind the walls, the drawings aren't right. There's columns in places that shouldn't be there. They hide a lot of things. The plumbing or the MEP sort of things is just below par from what you're paying for. There is so much behind the walls. I mean, 90% of what you pay for is behind the walls. You don't even see it anywhere. You see paint in a kitchen. A lot of it's behind the walls, and everyone gets leaks here. The amount of fires that happen in Dubai, it happens for a reason, because of the workmanship behind it. The quality of the work behind it, the snagging, the quality control behind it. It's just not there. And it's a shame to see spending all this money on villas when you could do something yourself and make it your own. And you can see the process ongoing. You can be on site every day. You can employ a reputable company who actually can check things for you. So definitely there's a track record with that. Every villa, what we do now, for example, like the floods, that just messed every villa up. So I think a lot of owners are now coming to terms with waterproofing. I think waterproofing companies have just come out of nowhere, because there's a market here now. Yes, it's not rained this year, I don't remember, but it's definitely a market, and it can happen, and it's proven that it can just happen. So you need to be prepared. A lot of the developers, when they were built 25 years ago, they didn't care about this. Even now they're preparing for earthquakes, even though I don't think we've had one here, but they're preparing for it. A lot of communities now, they're over-engineering the foundations. So they are catching up. Like we all know about the drainage works they do in Hessa and other places. They're doing a lot of work now around the whole of Dubai, which is good. But homeowners get the opportunity to do that on their own villas when they renovate it themselves as well, and see it done.
Yeah. Going back to like track records with certain developers, I think even villas and townhouses that have handed over in the last 2 years, right? They would have launched maybe 6 years ago, right?
Correct.
And there's a lot of buildings all around Dubai, apartments, commercial buildings, villas and townhouses that were launched to the market in a time where Dubai wasn't under the spotlight that it is today. So developers were it was okay to just be average, right?
Yep.
But now certain developers are kind of paying the price, because there's these new kids on the block that have got a global presence, not just in Dubai, that are coming into the market and really like making a name for themselves, going above and beyond with the materials used, the sizes, the space, the ceiling heights, the back garden sizes.
Pushing boundaries, where they can.
Yeah, so I think these older developers that have been around for maybe a couple of decades or so, they're really upping their game a bit with what they're delivering.
Well, they have to. I think we were saying that the standard of renovations are getting so much higher. Agents are becoming more savvy. They're snagging things more. It's no longer just, this is nice villa, it's got white paint on it. They're just so critical now. So our standard of work has to get better. Like you said, of building that's got launched 6 years ago. It might be launched 6 years ago, but the engineers have been working on it for 8 years. So it's 8-year-old, sort of all the stuff behind the walls. That's another factor, like you said. So the new guys, they're pushing boundaries a lot more. They're spending more on the villas, on the buildings or whatever they are. They're definitely spending a lot more. And that's what I see. The developer that comes in and spends more at the end, and they go, it's fine, because the market backs themselves and they just want to put the better products into it. They're the ones that'll do well out here. People who are not scared to spend more, they're not strict on that budget. They will just allow to push it a little bit more to make sure the villa is high quality, they're different from next door, the quality of products are there, and they're the ones that'll do well out here.
The final question from me, most of what we do, about 85% of our clients are like first-time off-plan investors over here, so we spend a lot of time like educating them, consulting them on the market, just making sure they're comfortable and they understand the process, like make them aware of any things to avoid. Red flags is what I'm getting at. Is there any, say you're talking to an investor or a client, is there any red flags that you'd make them aware of, things to avoid, like no-goes, do's and don'ts?
In terms of renovations or buying to renovate?
Yeah, any red flags?
I definitely just say, make sure you have a good budget. That's all I'd say, because stuff just costs money here. Materials are a lot more expensive. I think when international investors come in for the first time, they think they get a lot for 200,000 dirham. So 200,000 pounds or euros, you don't get much for that here. Most joinery alone, you could spend 100,000 dirham on a kitchen. So I definitely say, make sure you come in here with a higher budget than you'd expect to spend. But in terms of red flags, just ensure that your contract is reputable, because they might not know the approval processes. I do get quite a few calls saying, we've got this contractor, they've done the works and it's great, just they've not got the approvals yet. I'm like, well, it's finished. How? A lot of contractors just ride the wave and get the work done, which is fine. The quality could be there, but knowing the approval process could kill you. And certain developers have just put the prices up for any changes in design. So that will kill your budget.
Well, you looked at that recently, right, in JVT last year.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. They've just put a service charge up from 1,000 to 5,000 plus VAT for one change. Really? So if you, halfway through your reno, I don't want that door there, or I want to come into this bathroom another way, it's going to cost you 5,000 plus your trackies for another about 7,000 dirham just to make that change, not to do the work, just to decide to make that change.
Really?
And if you do that 2-3 times over a 6-month project,
adds up quick.
It adds up very quick. So you definitely need a buffer here.
Yeah, squeezes your returns, your margin.
100%.
And I think one of the most challenging factors for investors in this market is the amount of agents and brokers in this market. But you said about how do investors choose a reputable agent, right? It's the same for your
100%.
How do you find a reputable contractor? So if someone's over in the UK and they're not here on the ground, how do they identify a reputable contractor?
I guess it's just seeing their work. I mean, this is why we do a lot online, purely so people know who we are, the brand, so people see what we do on a day-to-day basis, they get familiar with the team. It's like anything online. I guess that's the only way. End of the day, there has to be a certain amount of trust. We could spend a year talking. If you don't trust me, I can't do the work for you, because there's just going to be issues down the line. You have to just trust someone, but you have to see the work, see the quality, just ask them questions. How long do you expect this approval process to take? Just kind of like sense and try and pull information out of them, I guess, because otherwise, how else do you know, really? You just kind of have to see their work and check their quality. And so look at certain things, look at the edges of the tiles, look at the corners of the ceiling, just look around, use your eyes. That's the best way to check someone's finish, I guess.
Any final advice, words of wisdom for these investors or end users looking to renovate?
I'd say cash is definitely king in this game, because if you can buy well. The main issue with low returns is not buying well at the start, because that's what we discussed. So if you've got cash, I assume you get a better deal these days. I don't know. And I'd say do your research and...
Use me.
No, I'd say definitely just do your research and ask around, get as many references as possible, and just shop around the market. That was a bit of shit advice, wasn't it? I can't really think.
No, do your research, do your due diligence, and just use people that you can trust. I think
100%.
that applies to like any part of this market or any kind of market.
Yeah,
really.
I'll be honest with you, trust your agent as well, because at the end of the day, if you're going, they often refer construction companies time after time, and they're not going to put they want to sell another villa to you in the future. They're not going to, their reputation on the line if they refer you. So ask your agent. They've always been to their project. They've also done their due diligence on the contractor as well. So the agents, I reckon, can give you some good advice on who to use and what to use as well, because they're on the ground.
Good, mate.
Well, thank you so much for coming along.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.